What's up, everybody? John Hoover from the franchise. Thought I'd do this one a little differently today. Oklahoma beats Texas 34-27 in the Cotton Bowl. Was a memorable college football game, and as far as this rivalry goes, it was pretty big time. I'm walking down the ramp right now. As you can see, I'm walking onto the field down here at the Cotton Bowl. Just left the State Fair, had a little bite to eat. It was quite decadent. I won't tell you yet what I got, but it was pretty big time. So the story of this game, CeeDee Lamb, 3 touchdown catches, 170, looking on my stat sheet right now, 171 yards, 3 touchdown catches, all from Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had 235 yards, the 3 touchdowns obviously, but wow, we got some light here on the subject now, huh? There we go, a little bit better. So I'm here at the Cotton Bowl, as you can see. This game, again, you think you see Kennedy Brooks had 105 yards rushing, Jalen Hurts had 131. Forget all the offense. Forget all the offensive players. Forget all the offense that you thought you saw. This game, more than anything, was about the Oklahoma defense looking exactly like it used to look back in the early 2000s when guys like Rocky Kalmus and Tommy Harris and Teddy Lehman and Derek Strait were roaming the Oklahoma defense. And they were wrecking shop on the Texas Longhorns right out here, seemed like every year. This game, Oklahoma came in as a 10-point favorite. They only won by 7. They didn't cover because Texas scored a late touchdown. Texas also scored a fourth-quarter field goal. This game was basically a blowout. Statistically, it was one-sided. If you look at it, take away the 10 points in the fourth quarter, this was an absolute blowout. Total offense, 511 yards to 300 for Oklahoma to 305 for Texas. This thing got going sideways real quick for Texas. Oklahoma scored on the opening drive. Texas comes back. It was a good game. It was an entertaining game. But what you saw from Oklahoma was a couple of turnovers, a couple of uncharacteristic maybe turnovers by Jalen Hurts. The interception and then a fumble. You had to go to replay for the fumble. But Jalen Hurts, 2 costly turnovers, both in the red zone. If Jalen Hurts holds on to the football, the Texas Longhorns don't force those fumbles, this game's a wipeout. So don't be fooled by how close the final score was. It really was very one-sided. The statistic that stands out to me and is going to stand out to me and makes me think that there's something special going on in Norman, Oklahoma, 9 quarterback sacks. Sam Ehlinger never had a chance today. Sam Ehlinger is a very good college quarterback. He has really improved. Probably he could make a case for one of the most improved players in all of college football. The Sooners made him look Bush League today. And I'm telling you, he's a great player, but Oklahoma really took it to him. It was impressive. 15 tackles for loss. The 9 quarterback sacks is the most, tied for the most ever in school history, and the 15 tackles for loss is the second most ever against Texas in this game. Again, you saw CeeDee Lamb do some unbelievable things, just some Houdini-type stuff on the sideline, keeping his feet in bounds, tiptoeing the sideline for a couple of those big touchdowns. Jalen Hurts made a ton of plays, as you would expect, but this game was all about the defense. Kenneth Murray was everywhere. He only had 5 tackles, which surprised me. I thought he would have had 13 or 14. Seemed like every time Oklahoma was on the verge of doing something special defensively, seemed like they were, every time that they were looking at, taking down Ehlinger or tackles for loss, seemed like Kenneth Murray was right in the middle of it. And he was, because he's the middle linebacker, but he had the 1 quarterback sack. He had 2 tackles for loss. Neville Gallimore had 2 sacks today. Unbelievable game. Those guys were playing hard. They were playing fast. DeLaren Turner-Yell led the team with 10 tackles. Ronnie Perkins was another one, played with a real edge. I think somebody made Oklahoma mad this week. Somebody made the Sooners mad this week. It might have been all the trash talk coming out of Austin, and it was, pretty tame as trash talk goes. But still, these guys seem to really take all that personally, and, good for them. I mean, if Oklahoma's going to win its 8th national championship, they have to play defense against Georgia. And maybe not Georgia today. Georgia just lost. They have to play defense against Clemson. They have to play defense against Alabama. Whoever else might be in the college football playoff, just like they played out here in the Cotton Bowl against Texas. This looked like one of the old-time Bob Stoops, Mac Brown beatdowns, from the early 2000s, and it was all keyed by the defense. Oklahoma played angry. They played edgy. They played literally on edge, a bunch of penalties. In the pregame, there was a shouting match, shoving match. The referees threw their flags, and everybody, however many players, 85 plus 85, 170 players, got tagged with a personal foul, got tagged with an unsportsmanlike, and they announced before the game, 30 minutes before kickoff, that the next player who gets one will get an automatic ejection. Made for a clean game. There were no, unsportsmanlike conducts. There were a couple of late hits and stuff like that, but nothing unsportsmanlike. So everybody minded their P's and Q's. But for the most part, I'm telling you, the Sooners were on edge. There were some personal fouls late that contributed. There were some pass interference penalties in the second half in the fourth quarter that contributed to a couple of Texas scores. Tom Herman said he knew how good Oklahoma's defense was. He said he knew how good the Sooners were, and he was not surprised. Oklahoma, if you look at the way they played up against that soft non-conference schedule and the first two games they played in conference play against Texas Tech and Kansas, it didn't look like Oklahoma was going to be capable of doing something like this against an offense like Texas, throughout their first four games. Oklahoma improves to 6-0. They're ranked number 6, but they'll climb surely this week. They're 3-0 in conference play. Texas falls to 4-2 and 2-1. One of the things that stands out to me about this game, too, is that Oklahoma literally won this game with defense because their offense, as I said earlier, 2 turnovers. They had they were only 3 of 12 on third down conversions. Jalen Hurts, he became the third quarterback since 1990. Remember that crazy stat I dug up years ago? Third quarterback since 1990. Win a Red River rivalry game when the other quarterback had more experience in this game. Sam Ehlinger came into this game with a lot more experience than Jalen Hurts did. Jalen Hurts outplayed him, but only barely. But the difference was the Oklahoma defense. They took Sam Ehlinger out of this game. There were 2 plays by Roschon Johnson, 57-yard run and a 23-yard run, that really, that's 80 yards on 2 plays. You take away those 2 plays, and the Longhorns only had 1 play longer than 20 yards all day, and it was a 22-yard pass. Of Texas's 73 plays, 34 of them were held to 2 yards or less, including negative plays, those 15 tackles for loss and those 9 quarterback sacks. So just can't say enough about the job Alex Grinch has done, breathing new life into this Oklahoma defense. Lincoln Riley said he was extremely proud. He knew that the defense was capable of this. He's seen this progress coming. So he said he was extremely proud, and they all talked about a standard that is being set. I think the standard was set years ago. Maybe these guys on defense, on this Oklahoma defense, are just now reaching it.